guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so thankful that you decided to click on this video and spend a little bit of time with me today. So this is just going to be a pretty quick and casual video. I always say pretty quick and then I end up talking forever, so we'll see how it'll go. I have a topic I really want to talk about today, and so it's just going to be a little bit of chat. I am going to show a couple things, but I'm really not going to get into detail about the patterns. Normally when I talk about things that I'm making, I go into detail about what I think about it and who created it and all that stuff. I don't have time for that today, but I will put the links for the patterns in the description if you want to make them. And I probably won't show you like a full view of them either, because the purpose of this video is not really to show what I'm making, but more to talk about a topic that it's been on my mind. So you're probably wondering from the title of this video, what is this problem that you have? Well, I'm going to talk about it. I think on one hand, it can be a little bit of a problem. And then on the other hand, I don't think it is at all. So let's talk about it. And then I want to get your opinions in the comments. Okay, so I have a whole stack of items here. And this whole stack is crochet wearables. I have a sweater whip in this bag, looking very colorful and beautiful, I might add. So here's one sweater in this project bag. Here's another, and a sock for some reason. Here's another granny square cardigan in this bag. This I'm making because our county colors are these three colors, and we have spirit days. I work at a school. We have spirit days the first Thursday of every month where we wear our county's colors, so I've been making this forever and I'm super close to getting it done, so I don't know why I don't do that. I have another granny square cardigan right here using what is this? The Ogo, the Colorama Halo. It's actually not Ogo, it's in a cake form now. So I have a granny square cardigan in here that I need to finish, that I'm also pretty far along in. And then I also have one in here. You might have seen this recently on a short that I posted. I took this with me when I went on a little road trip. So I have this one. This is a cardigan as well. And you can see this one I'm not too far along in. Oh, and I thought I was missing one. I'll be right back. I also have this one in this bag using some Karen, what is this? Cotton cakes. This is a sweater as well that I started a couple months ago. So if you're counting, that is 5 different wearables. So 3 cardigans and 2 sweaters. The funny thing is about that, I think it's funny, I never made wearables up until I started this channel. I've been crocheting for like 13 years-ish, and I never made a single wearable except for like beanies, scarves, things like that. But I'm talking like sweaters, cardigans, clothing items, until I started this channel a couple years ago. And now, can you tell that I'm obsessed? And so I kind of want to talk about that today. And of course, this is not the only whips that I have going on. I also have a 2023 temperature blanket that I will finish. It just, I don't know when. It is going to get finished though. I have that. I've decided to, if some of you all might have seen this, this is a mosaic crochet. It was going to be a blanket. Now it's going to be a table runner. But yeah, so it's going to be a table runner. I did decide to go ahead and finish that one off because I have too many whips. And then I do have some other things in the works that I can't even think of right now. So is this a problem? I think yes and no. For one, there is project bags everywhere around my room and my house. So that can be an issue. Also for me, I'm bad about writing down the hook size that I'm using for a pattern, and I don't know why, because it's so simple to do, but I just don't. And then I end up grabbing the hook from my project and using it for something else, and then totally forgetting, and then I have to go back and find the pattern and blah 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 blah, and it's a whole thing. That's annoying. And of course, I guess you could say, I wouldn't say it's necessary. I wouldn't say it's wasteful. I'm sure some people would, but I don't think it is, because honestly, even if I never finished half of these projects, it still brought me so much joy to work on them. It's a hobby for me. Like some people do woodworking or bake things or any amount of hobbies you can think of. We have joy not just from the finished objects, but from doing them. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's wasteful, but I do think about like all the yarn that I'm using, and I plan to finish all these. It's just if I end up not, like, I need to make myself repurpose the yarn, like unwind it and use it for something else or frog it, whatever. You get what I'm saying. So yes, I think it could be an issue. On the organization note, I actually have a couple products coming to me from an awesome fellow crocheter that reached out to me, and I will tell you more about that in that video. But they are organization projects specifically made for yarn and crochet, so I cannot wait to put those to use. You will see that soon. So now I kind of want to flip the conversation a little bit. So yes, having a lot of whips, especially for some reason right now, I'm all into the wearables, and I think that that's mainly because I get to show off my crochet when I wear it. You know, if I make something that's just gonna sit in my home, that's still awesome, like it's still fun. And or if I'm gonna make something like a washcloth that's gonna be used, but wearing your own crochet clothing, I can't talk today, is just so much fun, because you get to literally be like a living art piece of your own beautiful art that you made. I do believe crochet is art. So that's just, I think that's why I'm into wearables right now. Also, they do take a while to make, but not like so long that it deters you from doing it. Anyway, so now I want to get into what causes us, those of us who are like me, to start project after project after project. If you can hear my husband vacuuming down there, I'm sorry. We're hosting my mom's like little birthday thing tonight, and I had a lot I needed to get done, and he's so graciously like taking care of some of the cleaning. He's always so awesome about that. So if you hear it, sorry. But I was thinking about like what causes us to start all these projects, or what we call start-itis. And I looked into it. I just honestly Googled it. I kind of had some thoughts going on in my own head, and I think that this perfectly sums up the reasons why we constantly start projects. So there's a few things listed here, and I agree with all of them. I want to know if you agree. Do you think that these are a reason for you? Is this something that you have found to be a reason why you start new things all the time? Or maybe you have another reason. So I'd love to hear if there's something that's not mentioned on my list. I would love to hear it in the comments. I love to talk with you guys. So the first thing is because of attractive new patterns. So new patterns are being released all the time. We all have our favorite crochet designers, and when we see them release a new pattern, we instantly want to make it. I'm sure you all have heard me talk many times about MJ's Off the Hook Designs and Craft and a Cuppa, and that's just to name a couple. Every time they release something new, I'm tempted to make it because I just really I like their style. So I think that's definitely a big reason. There's just all these awesome new patterns, and we don't want to wait to make it. We know that our current project is going to take quite a while, probably, and we don't want to wait. We just want to go ahead and start it, and we have yarn we can think of that would be great for it, and it's just, we just want to do it right now. The next thing kind of goes along with that, but I like the way this puts it. It says shiny object syndrome. So this goes along with the attractive new patterns, but we have Pinterest, we have Instagram, we have other YouTube channels. We see people on YouTube that we like to watch making something and it just looks so beautiful. We have all these social media platforms, and with that, it causes us to, again, want to make him too. I feel like it's the same thing with products. If you see somebody that you trust or somebody that is wearing a certain outfit and they look really cute, or using a certain kitchen gadget, you tend to kind of want those things a lot of the time. And so seeing someone make a certain pattern or seeing a picture of a pattern, obviously it's going to draw you in. The next thing, and I've talked about this, and I think this is one of my main reasons, is the need for variety. So we might get tired of the yarn we're using, or looking at the colors we're using, or just doing the stitch that we're doing. That's a big one for me. I get pretty burned out on the same stitches, which is kind of funny because I have literally 3 patterns right now, or 3 projects that are using the granny stitch. But yeah, so we all need variety, I think, in our lives. Now, there are those type of people, and there's nothing wrong with this at all, that make strictly blankets in a certain stitch, and they use the same brand of yarn all the time, and that's fine with them, and I think that's awesome. That's one thing about crochet that's amazing, is that we all are different, and we all bring our own thing to it, and we all have our preferences, and I think that's one thing that makes it special. That's with any kind of art or hobby. But a lot of us need something new. But because of that, our older projects that we were once really excited about can get forgotten. So that is leading into the next thing. The excitement wears off. So we were really, really excited to start a new project, and then we get a few hours into it, if it's a bigger project, and we're like, okay, I'm loving this, but I think I'm ready to work on something else. It goes along with that need for variety. And I think that I have a video on crochet burnout. I think I might do a updated version, but in the future, but I talked about how I love to use colorful yarn, because that kind of keeps me invested a little more, is kind of seeing how are the colors going to play out. I just think that's really fun, and it keeps me really into a project. And then the last thing that's mentioned here is overwhelmed by options. So it says you might start making something, but then see a better pattern or something else that catches your eye. So I feel like these all kind of are in line with each other, but yeah, you see like all the things on your Pinterest board, or all the printed patterns you have in a stack, or all your pattern books and all your yarn, and you're just like, I want to make it all right now. So instead of sitting and finishing a full-on project, you are just working on different projects, like I have a couple that are about 1/3 of the way finished, or 1/2 of the way finished. So it's like you're making progress, but it's hard to finally complete it. And I think, again, coming back to the problem side of it, I use problem lightly, is that some projects that we would really love if we would finish them, some of them are getting lost and forgotten, and are not getting completed. And so I definitely think I'm at the point where I really, really, really need to narrow a couple things down. But at the same time, I love to have, I'm just looking all around me, and I see all these options of what I can work on. And I don't know if you've ever heard like the phrase mood reader. So it's someone who reads based off of their mood. So if they're in the mood for fantasy, they'll read fantasy. If they're in the mood for historical fiction, they'll read that. And I feel like I'm kind of a mood crocheter. Anything that I feel like working on is probably what I'm going to be working on. And I posted a video last week about why I don't sell my projects that often anymore. And this is one of the reasons. I like to have a lot of projects, and I like to crochet what I want to crochet in that moment. So I would love, love, love to hear your thoughts. Do you feel like you kind of fall in line with where I'm at? Is there any other reasons that weren't mentioned here that maybe makes you want to keep starting things and having start-itis? I would love to know. The verse I want to share with you today is actually the verse of the day on the Bible app that I use. And while I don't think it's the best thing for us to just take a verse and only that verse and not read it in context, I would always encourage, if I give you the chapter and the verse, to go and look it up. There's free Bible apps if you don't have a Bible. You know, if you do have a Bible, it's great to use that too, either way. But I always encourage you to go and read some of that chapter. Don't just take the verse, and because it's so easy to spin that, and so many people have taken verses out of context, and it just can be a very dangerous thing. And so I hope that if I just read a single verse and I don't give you a lot of context, I would hope that you would go back and kind of read the verses that come before and after, so you can get a good idea of what's actually going on in the passage. But this is from the book of Psalms, chapter 38, verse 18. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. This is a verse that has really sustained me and that I have found true in a lot of hard times in my life. And I'm sure that many of you, I know a bunch of my viewers are Christians and would say that you've experienced the same thing. There has been some really difficult times in my life when I have felt closer to the Lord than ever before. Now, we know that He is always near us if we are His, but I guess I just mean that feeling of His closeness. There's times when we go about our life and we don't feel close to God. Now, if you are a professed Christian that believes in Jesus as your Savior, we know He's always with us, but our feelings can mess with us sometimes. And sometimes I feel like the Lord causes us or allows us to feel that way for a purpose. But there's just something really sweet about that feeling you get when you go through something, but you know God is with me, He loves me, and He cares for me. And so today I just want to take a second. I just want to pray for all of you who are brokenhearted right now, who are crushed in spirit, who are going through any number of things. This world is crazy. There have been the hurricanes lately. There are things going on in other countries. There's just so much. But I just pray, Lord, that you would be with them, that you let them feel your presence, that they would reach out to you in their time of despair, and know that you love them, and that with you, you make all things work together for the good of those who love you and are called according to your purposes. And that is such a blessing. We thank you so much, Lord. Amen. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I think it was a fun topic. Again, my video ended up being longer than it was supposed to be, but that's the way it works. I hope you all enjoy these like 20-minute videos, because that's typically what you get from me, is around that much. I always say I'm only gonna film for like 10 minutes. I just love talking to y'all. So let me know, did you enjoy this video? I hope you did. I pray that God blesses you, and I'll see you super soon in the next one. Bye.